SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let me just say this. It's been a banner 24 hours for the network.
Yeah.
And I want to start with the most important part, the we made it moment.
The we made it moment.
And I don't even know if you're aware of it, Steve, but
I'm almost positive I'm not.
we've been fighting, at this network for recognition. We want to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
You know, this is a real sports network full of sportsy guys.
Steve, how are your contributions to that going? Like breaking news and getting like stories out there for us to legitimize the network and such.
There are rumors, Jesse, that he's well compensated for such things.
Ah, yes.
Don't forget Saudi Steve. By the way, that's a very nice Maserati you drove in this morning. Surprised you didn't take the helicopter, but
It turns into one.
Oh.
Sorry. Oh, you don't have one?
Oh, sorry. You're right. You're right.
don't have one of those?
Sorry about that. Sorry. No, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday during the hockey game, Jesse Blake made an appearance on the NHL Network. That isn't even the we made it moment because Jesse's done this before.
Oh, yeah.
Asterix, not the NHL Network, the NHL's YouTube channel.
Okay. Which is a part of the NHL Network. And who, Jesse?
Where they have their NHL hosts.
Who, Jesse,
NHL
did you
Network
share the
hosts.
screen with?
Alexa, Anna, and Pierre.
Pierre who, Jesse?
McGuire was on.
No way.
Jesse
Yeah.
and Pierre Maguire were panel co-hosts last night. Let me just say, we made it. Listen, we made it. I've been watching Pierre Maguire since I was like 10 years old, man.
Is that the we made it moment?
That guy has done broadcasting forever and a little bit of Ottawa Senators managing too and a little bit of Hartford Whalers coaching too. Dude.
Yeah, but he never did make it to general manager. So that's why they brought in Jesse.
Oh.
Yeah, they brought in the real GM.
True.
I was sitting there. I was like, I've been higher in management than you.
Oh. And he's like, oh, yeah, tell me about the trades you've made.
Well, hey, don't you have on your stream tonight, isn't it the finals?
We made the Stanley Cup Finals. We are up against the Minnesota Wild. We're gonna play Game 1 tonight. It's the biggest stream of the season so far. 6:30 p.m. Eastern on SDPN's YouTube channel.
What are the rules by which you had to follow to get here? Because I think that's important. Like, are you playing the games yourself? Are you simming the games? What are you doing?
So in our franchise mode sim, we sim all of the games. We're not allowed to play any of them. We're not allowed to set any of the lines either. So you hire the head coach and you hit head coach preferred lines and you leave it up to the head coach there. The only things you're allowed to do are GM duties. So you sign players, re-sign, obviously, you do free agency, you make trades, and that's kind of it. And then you watch the games unfold and you see what the sim spits out. And right now we're in the Stanley Cup Final, so it's good. Game 1 tonight versus Minnesota.
Very exciting. And then immediately following the Stanley Cup Final, we have the Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah, less important.
With Steve Dangle.
Yeah. You're in the semifinal. I'm in the final. So
That's right. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That's right. Conference final. Panthers. Rangers. Friggin' 1 goal until 4 minutes left. Feel the scintillation. That was not the game I was expecting.
No. So
two.
we'll get to that in a second. But Jesse, I want to ask: Did you and Pierre develop like a little chemistry? Did you have like a tit for tat? Did you? Jimmy and shake?
He liked because when Sagan scored on Ben scored.
Ben scored
on the wide open cage after the rebound. I was kind of breaking down how Desharnais didn't have anybody in front of the net, and there's 2 Dallas Stars players right next to him. Like, Desharnais's got to grab a man. This happens. He's over there, and Pierre's like, "Oh, it's great from Jesse. Just a piggyback off of that." So he kind of liked that analysis, and I felt a little good in my soul.
That's good, man.
Pierre Maguire was like, you know what? Nice point. And then he told the story about how, because I was talking about how Dallas is going down 1-0 and all that stuff. And he talked about how when back in '91, I believe, when he was going through the playoffs, or I forget what year, when they were going through the playoffs, they lost every first game of the series on the way to the Stanley Cup.
Well, that would have been the Penguins then.
I guess the Penguins won.
91 or 92.
Yeah.
Both. That's crazy.
Yeah, they were down 1-0 in all 4 series. So it's not over if you just lose game 1, because he did it, They came all the way back each time.
Well, Dallas, I know they lost game 1 to Vegas. Did they lose game 1 to Colorado?
They did. Remember,
No way.
It was the comeback. Remember, Dallas was up 3 goals.
Yep.
And
they
then
lost?
Colorado came all the way.
Oh, wow.
The last game won that Dallas won, I believe, is the Stanley Cup final.
No.
In 2020?
Yeah. Look it up.
No.
I don't even know
look
how
it
I
up.
would begin looking that up.
I'll do it. I'll do
Okay,
it.
all right.
I'll do it.
That seems like a... Wow. Damn.
Damn.
Hey,
Hey.
it makes me happy as a Leaf fan because we never win game 1 either. And it is possible to
No,
come
sometimes they do. And they lose anyway. That is literally what happened.
I know. I just thought that was pretty cool because like people were in the chat for my live stream and they're like, yo, Jesse's on with Pierre Maguire right now.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
I'm so mad I missed that.
Well, you can go back and watch.
Yeah,
it
you
again.
can watch it on YouTube.
I've stayed up for the vast majority of the games these playoffs, and I had to tap out.
You missed
Oh,
a
that's
good
okay.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
we'll-
went to
we'll
double
break it
OT. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, I would have been pot committed too. So I was about to say I would have had to miss the overtime, but I know I wouldn't have. So I just would have shown up miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have been even less sleep.
Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't do that.
You know what? It's game 1. You can watch the replay. It's not the end of the
Yo, the future's sick.
Isn't the future sick?
Yeah. Highlights on demand.
Yeah.
On my phone. I love it.
The game in 6 or whatever, and that can be helpful too in the regular season when things are just like there's like,
Yeah.
oh, we've got 16 games tonight.
I don't know if they call that
What do they call it now?
Call it that anymore because they had Leafs in 6
Oh, okay.
or whatever it was. The highlight pack that I used to edit at friggin' Leafs TV and did a great job. And it was rarely ever 6 minutes, was it? It was very often a little under or a lot over. Usually a lot over. It's just the replay, the recap up the next day.
Well, the other thing that happened is Jesse then parlayed his momentum from the Pierre Maguire stream and brought it to the SDPN stream.
Oh,
And you know how Jesse likes to jump on your streams and start the wave and start the crab people
Yep.
stuff and whatever, and you hate the wave. I get that. I don't mind the wave, so it's less
you-
less exciting with me. I'm like, yeah, let's
big
do it.
Wave hater.
I'll do it. I don't care about either of these teams. I'm not cheering for them to win the cup.
Wow.
You know who I cheer
Saucy
for
Steve.
between May and October? An asteroid. That's who I cheer for. And then hockey starts and I have purpose again. That's all I want.
Well, so Jesse, I don't know if you guys know this, but a couple years ago in Montreal, Jesse had already started his live streams, and he was doing, he's the crab people. Those are his
Yes.
people, right? And so I thought it would be hilarious during our live stream. Steve was doing his with Colby Armstrong at Sportsnet to institute my own people, the feed people.
Yeah, I wish you
Hashtag Gripper Nation.
No.
Now, people have been from game 1, Canucks Nashville, my first game of the playoffs. They have been begging, pleading for Gripper content, and I said, you get to 1,000 likes, you get to see them. You get to see one.
Adam.
And so Jesse parlayed the momentum, and he brought. We got up to 1,500 concurrents, and we had 1,000 likes on that thing.
Damn.
Yeah, like that's
Really good.
And it
Especially
was,
for that late.
Had the Dallas Stars not tied it up
Yeah.
at the end of the third, we never would have got there.
Right.
But we got into overtime. The viewership spiked, and people were like, "What the hell is this?" And they all liked it. And so then I was like, "All right." After the first overtime happened, I had to show the grips. I think it was after first overtime.
Grip.
Yeah, it was.
At the intermission of the first OT.
Yes.
Yeah, you
So-
showed your feet because we hit 1,000 likes.
right.
That is
The-
indeed what happened.
The grip peeper.
And now, like, Gripper Nation is alive and thriving.
People were saying in the chat last night, first off, Gripper Nation fully united last night.
Yeah.
Secondly, people were like, it doesn't matter who won this game because we all did.
Yeah, exactly. And don't give me any credit for
Oh, it was
that.
all you.
The whole thing was Gripper Nation. I didn't start this challenge about hitting 1,000 likes and seeing Adam's feet. It was Gripper Nation who did it, and it was only like what 1,400 people.
Yes.
But we managed to squeeze 1,000 likes.
Yes.
out
Out
of
of
the
that.
1,400 people.
You know how crazy
which
that
is
is?
like the percentage of viewership to likes if you see it ever on a live stream. It's never that high.
Jesse, you didn't squeeze it out of them. You gripped it out.
With the toe.
Jesse, do you have
Gripped it out of
do you have the clip? Can we play the clip?
Let's run the clip.
Because you got to see. Because here's the thing:
Yeah.
if you're gonna give the people what they want,
Oh yeah.
You got to put on a bit of a show, a bit of a striptease.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adam,
All right.
Adam
Now-
definitely did that.
Now, we do have new gripper achievements to unlock because I've only got a maximum of 6
I don't know if this can be on YouTube.
live streams left to go.
So, fun fact:
What?
this couldn't have been on Twitch. It would violate the terms of Twitch streams.
Bro.
You're not allowed to do it.
To show feet?
You showed it in a sexual manner.
I did?
We're gonna watch the clip, but I feel like this would have violated the terms of service on Twitch.
Okay, here we go, Steve. Here we go.
No, I don't want to see
Here we go.
this.
You got to have to watch it.
I'm not putting on my glasses.
Here we go.
I'll see the shape of your foot.
There's my Lululemon sock inside out because I just took it off. Are you guys ready?
Oh, it's probably so hot
Hayden.
too.
Get ready.
Like-
We're cutting to the clip
Like heat.
as soon as the gripper gets on screen. But first, I must show it off. Are you ready?
The grip
In
peeper.
3, in 2.
You're gonna throw out your back.
Whoa! Oh no! Is that a? Oh, dude, I just screwed up my mic.
Oh my god! This content.
There's my Lululemon sock inside out.
You know what?
Took it off.
Let me get the pause.
If
on
that
the
is
split.
sexual to Twitch, then it's a low bar.
Matt, just yell.
Why are your toes so little?
I have little toes.
That's one hell of.
All the better to suck on, Steve.
Oh my fucking god! No.
So this is
visceral.
what we've
Yeah.
come to. We
No.
started this about like, hey, we're gonna legitimize the network and all that fun stuff, and what we've had here is Saudi Steve and Gripper Nation Adam.
That's right. Listen. And as I make my NHL Network debut for this season,
Yeah,
tonight,
so you even like hit that point. You're doing what I did last night.
yeah, I'm going tonight. I'm going tonight. I'm going to join.
Well, why stop there?
I got a text from my in-laws. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, why stop there?
Why stop? What do you mean?
Jesse, get to work. We need some merch. We need some grip drip. Make some grip drip, Jesse.
I don't think people want to wear that.
I think people love grip drip. They need the grip drip so they can represent. Get his foot off the screen, bro.
No, leave it.
No.
Look at your face, Adam. Adam's so happy to be doing this.
Here, wait. Tiki, tiki, tiki. Tiki, tiki, tiki.
All right.
All right, yeah.
Matty can't handle it.
No.
Matty doesn't like feet.
I got it. I got a text from Hayden last night. Hayden, who
Breakfast
produces
is
this.
about to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not enjoying
I
this.
got a.
Hayden, who I believe quit last night.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, what did Hayden have?
He said, "I'm crying so hard, I'm laughing." He said, "I got a text from Robert asking what even is our job." Quote: "Yeah, my boss showed his feet on a stream last night."
I want to read Robert Malloy's tweet that he put out because I thought it was just along the lines of exactly what you're saying. Robert said, "If I had a nickel for every time I saw Adam Wild's feet at work, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened
It's
twice."
weird.
What was the first? Oh, right. While I was streaming with Colby. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Anyway, listen, there are new challenges to unlock on my streams. There's only potentially 6 left, right? If we go 7 games, we've already got 1 game under the belt. So if we get to 1,500 likes, I show both feet at the same time.
Adam, no. Why? Adam, we can't do this.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Steve, I don't like the fact that he's giving himself these challenges.
Well,
Yeah.
in
I'm
Gripper
giving
Nation.
it to the Gripper Nation.
He's the king.
They gotta come through.
He's the king of Gripper Nation. He's egging them on.
And he's not making them hard enough. All right, 3 likes, you can stomp on my balls. Like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
What do you mean?
the fuck are you
1,500 likes
doing?
would be crazy. That's like the most concurrence I've had. I don't get up to the Steve Dangle
4 likes, you
20,000
can call me a
concurrence.
bad boy. The fuck?
6 likes, you can whip me. Like, 7 likes, I get out the whipped cream. Like, Adam.
2,000 likes, though. We got to figure out a
I don't know
benchmark
if
for
you
2,000
do.
likes. 2,000 likes. Gripper Nation. What do we get for 2,000 likes?
Gripper Nation.
What do we get? Hashtag Gripper Nation. Don't forget the hashtag, right? So you can find each other.
The grip peeper. I'm gonna make that a thing.
You know?
Oh.
I was like, man, I'm giving this stuff away for free. And people were like, it wasn't free. It cost us 1,000 likes. It was a lot of work to get
It's
there.
definitely not free.
So anyway, Do you want to hear another cool stat?
I don't know.
Before you get to your cool stat,
Oh, okay.
let me confirm what I said.
What'd you say?
The Dallas Stars have not won game one of a series since the 2020 NHL Stanley Cup Final.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I can go through it quickly here. I think I can do this on Hockey Reference real quick. So they win game one of the Stanley Cup Final against Tampa Bay Lightning in 2020. Next season, they do not make the playoffs in 2021. Next season, in 2022, they lose in the first round to the Calgary Flames. And in the first round to the Calgary Flames, they lose the game 1-0 in game one.
Ottinger was friggin' ridiculous.
2023, first round Minnesota Wild. They lose 3-2 in overtime, double overtime to the Minnesota Wild. Game one.
But they win the series.
Second round, they lose to the Seattle Kraken. I was on a roll. Second round, they lose game one, first game, 5-4 in overtime to the Kraken. They're down 1-0 once again. Lastly, Vegas Golden Knights conference final in overtime again. That is 3 straight OT game one losses. They go down 3-4. And then this season, they lose to the Colorado Avalanche. No, they lose to the Vegas Golden Knights in game number 1, 4-3, not overtime. Round 2, Colorado Avalanche, they lose 4-3 in overtime.
Get out of here.
The conference finals against Edmonton last night in overtime again, double overtime this time, 3-2.
That's a
They're
ridiculous
down.
stat.
That's crazy.
So they usually start just trading blows, but they eventually fall in game one, but then they tighten their grip on the series.
So we'll play the old Tim and Sid game. I forget the actual thing, but is there something there with this stat, meaningless stat or significant number? That was the game.
Meaningless stat.
Not
Meaningless
significant
stat.
number?
Not significant. Significant if they lost, but they keep winning. They win,
But they
playoff
keep
series.
going down 1-0 and usually in overtime.
You usually lose games in the series. Best to get it over with early. They haven't swept anyone. I don't think Dallas cares.
Can we get someone to prick one of the Stars with a needle so we can get their DNA and create both the best and worst playoff teams ever by combining their DNA with the Leafs? Because we could find a team that stinks late in series and early in series.
Oh,
but we
true.
could also find one that essentially doesn't lose.
That's your theory?
That's what it is.
Do you think there's something significant here or meaningless?
Meaningless.
Okay.
Meaningless. That's just extraordinary bad luck that they keep losing in game one, and it's almost exclusively in overtime.
What did I listed off? Was that 7 straight? Oh, I should have counted along the way, but I think that's 7 or 8 straight. 7.
3 this year, 2 last year.
The Calgary one.
One against
3 this
Calgary.
year,
Yeah.
2 last year, 1 the year before,
And then final.
and then Stanley Cup final against Tampa. So
Where
that
they
is
won.
friggin' 7 straight.
7 straight game ones you lose, and 5 of them were in overtime.
Yep.
7 straight dating back to COVID.
Yeah.
The dawn of
I think
it.
there's something there.
But what does it say? If it's a meaningful stat, what does it say?
If we're getting into the game from last night, I don't think that team woke up for the first 2 periods.
No, so wait. Let's make the Dallas Stars the Leafs. Let's do it. Because they have a bunch of new players, right, that weren't there at the beginning of this streak, but are there now. They also have a new coach who wasn't there at the beginning of the streak, but they are now. We need to tear into Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, and Miro Heiskanen. And you know what? They can't keep all 3.
Shut up.
The core 3, they can't keep them all. Add Joe Pavelski in there. Joker.
Yeah, the difference is here they've had 7 series to do this because they went to the Stanley Cup Finals. They've been in the conference finals. They're in the conference finals again, and I don't know.
they have as many series in the last 3 years as the Leafs do in the last
6.
6.
yeah.
So
I
just audibly gasped.
It's hard to criticize a team that's been so successul.
Yeah. And you know what?
Pure fluke.
It'd be great to go up 1-0, but it hasn't really negatively affected them, I would say, too much. Now, the one quick thing I want to do before we get to the game tomorrow or tonight.
Show off your feet. Don't say show off your feet.
I'm not going to show off my feet.
Okay, good.
Jesse is also making an appearance with one Christopher Johnson today. on the CJ
Oh,
show.
yeah.
So I did want to say that too.
Did a lot today.
You did McGuire, you did Feet, you did Johnson.
Yes, and then I got Stanley Cups tonight.
And you had Stanley Cup tonight. This is a big 24 hours for you. How was the show with CJ?
Unreal. CJ, because like it's not. I'll talk about it in the context of the Philip Hronik stuff. Ooh. So the way I look at it is like, okay, we'll talk about like how we talk about here. We'll talk about what happened and the reaction from all that. But CJ, there's another level you can go to. So like my follow-up question to that is, what's the mentality behind the reporter going at a player and pushing back on a player in a question? Like, what's the follow-up there? And then CJ provides his insight on that. And he's like, you know, when you're doing like a game day article, like you got it coming out at deadline, you're coming down from the press box, you're running to do the scrum. Sometimes it's high energy because that player just came off losing a game or winning, their high energy. You're trying to follow the story. So it's a little odd that it happened in this press conference environment where like the PR staff is sitting there, he's up there, we just had a whole season, everybody's kind of calmed down, and you see the reporter push back. So doing a show with CJ, you get to a different level than you get to when it's just like somebody who just watches the game because he's on the inside of it. He's the insider. So I love just asking his brain questions and like what he knows about these conversations.
Not him. His brain.
Yeah.
Love
No,
asking his brain questions.
You're asking the brain question.
You're going direct to the brain. I like
So
that.
it's going to be out by the time you're listening to this. So go listen to that. It's such a fun time chatting with CJ.
Now we got to get to the game last night, and then we'll talk about Florida, New York, which was just a barn burner.
Ugh. I really hope game 2 is better.
I got to be honest. I thought after the first period with
Sorry, like I can't hide the. It sucks when you're in the middle of the game and you start really excited, and like by the end of it, you're trying to sell people on this, and you're like, this fucking stinks.
I'm always watching most parts of your and Adam's streams, and I know when the game is a bit of a lull when you guys just start going to the chat a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let me just answer
well
some chat.
the entire first period last night. The entire first period, it was like, okay, what do you want to talk about? Because neither team seems to want to play tonight.
Well, so Adam, how much of the before you talk about last night's game, how much of my game 1 stream did you see?
I saw the entire first, and then you called me because I
Yeah.
was like chilling.
You were high.
Oh no, I wasn't. I
You were
wasn't.
thousands.
No, I don't actually do edibles a whole lot during the week. I
Yeah?
try to keep it clear because I like to wake up clear and whoosh, although I actually sleep really well with them. But I think I was kind of hanging out, and then I was like, when I saw your number come up a couple of times, I was like, oh no, like there must be an emergency or something. And then I thought, and then you said your refrigerator running.
Yeah, and I said, "Oh, good. That means it works." And I hung up.
That's a good one.
No, but you missed the second period, so you're gonna hate this.
Oh, okay.
So, Adam, you've done a show with me for a very long time.
I have.
Someone said in the middle of play, we got a super chat. It was Steve. Can you name all 11 players who have ever played for all 3 of the Leafs, Rangers, and Panthers?
Oh, I want to fucking die. Oh my god.
What? And Steve,
so
what
boring.
did you proceed to do?
Did you do it?
Tried to name them before then going, no, I can't do this right now. I got to call the game. Before, for the next 20 minutes, very visibly and audibly being distracted by trying to name all 11 guys while I was trying to call the game.
And it spoke to your level of interest on the ice because it was a lot. There wasn't a lot of action in terms of like the high danger scoring chances or anything like that. But your brain, when you get that type of hockey trivia, you're like, I gotta solve this.
I absolutely could not put it down. I couldn't put it down. What I should have done is named my 1 or 2 and then quit.
and then moved on.
But I wanted to get subs, and we got them because there was an award for everyone I got right, like 5 gifted subs, and there was something in it for the viewer too. Oh,
Adam.
Anyway, I only got like 3.
Adam, if you had the opportunity to produce that segment, let's say they were like hiring you to just manage Steve's stream and say, okay, what kind of content are we doing here? Would you recommend Steve spend 20 minutes in the middle of a game trying to name random Leaf, Ranger, Panthers?
Which is why the super chats are so fun because it's like, here's anti-producing. You're doing Edmonton, Vancouver. Give me a Marner trade. Like that's what I kept getting. It was like, well, what about Marner? What'd you do for Marner? It's like, I don't know, man. There's a game, but you're always appreciative of the super chat. So no, what I would have done, Steve, if I had been your producer on that chat, I'd have been like, save it for intermission.
Yeah.
Name one now and then save the rest for intermission. See if you can get it done.
Wait, what was that?
Save it for intermission.
Hello.
What's that?
It's me trying to get your attention.
He's on like the producer mic.
Blowing in your ear.
Oh.
Because the producer mics always suck, by the way.
Yeah.
They're always
Hi,
Brad living at the microphone.
I'm Brad Treliving, and I'm proud to announce at this press conference we've reacquired Pierre
Maddie producer Mike stuff.
Engvall. We're going to prioritize
Parenzo.
puck possession.
I felt bad because on my producer mic when I was doing Adam's streams, like I felt like I was just making so many plosives. I could hear myself. And I was like,
you're good.
Plosives.
Is that what they're called?
they're called plosives. Yeah, those P's when you get real close. If you don't have like a pop filter.
I thought they were called popping
Yeah.
peas.
No, they're called plosives.
I've never learned.
I learned that in school.
Plosives?
Well, I learned
technical
popping peas
term
in school.
for it.
I did. Yeah, me too. Damn.
But apparently
Maddie.
we're a generation apart. I'm old.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
You were good. You were
Oh,
good.
thank
No,
you.
were good.
Okay, well,
Your
I
mic
kept
was
hearing
clear.
myself, and I was like, I could hear all my spit and stuff. So gross. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, it's I gotta say, I respect the fact that the person. Here's the thing: if you want to do something fun on Steve's stream, my content is gripper content, and you know where this is going. But for Steve, you gotta think about. You ever seen those videos where cat owners have the little fishing rod with the little thing on the end of it? So you throw a super chat at Steve that
Sounds
you
really
know
fun.
is gonna distract him because Steve loves to call the game. I'm more of a chat guy, and Jesse, you feel like a hybrid. It feels like Jesse's a bit of a hybrid.
Yeah, well, mine's a completely different vibe, I think.
Yeah, we all have different vibes.
I do a lot of special effects.
Yes.
And dancing animals and music.
Where did you get the panda, by the way?
Oh, the dancing panda, like that's a gem. Like he's doing good stuff.
So Jesse's like, how do I get like as many special effects as possible?
Yeah.
So Jesse's the Michael Bay of streaming, basically.
Exactly.
And
Then I was like,
Yeah, you're essentially watching Transformers.
yeah, you need to get an explosion one. But anyway, Steve, if you want to have some fun with Steve, give him a stat-related question that's deep cut. Like that, and just super chat him like $5 and be like, "Yo, Steve, how about this?" And then watch him try not to answer it and try to stay focused on the game because he can't do it.
No.
you know what would have been the more evil thing? Like tonight, be like, name all three guys who have scored playoff overtime winners for both the Panthers and the Rangers, but there's only two.
Oh, that'd be
Oh,
that's mean.
Them just lying on the trivia.
So I could get two, and then I for the next
That's
rest
cheating.
of the game go. But I thought there were three.
Here's a good one.
that's
like
mean.
like
Not
you know,
be able to handle it.
if I wanted to do something to you, I would be like, name the first three teams Austin Matthews scored against this year.
This year, Montreal, Minnesota. Who'd they play in the third game? Shit! I don't remember.
See? He'd be thinking about that. Shady Rays. Steve's wearing them. And he's brought them to the show many, many times and left them in the car and not brought his Shady Rays on the air. But now we finally get them.
And I got them, and God, like I'm looking straight at our studio lights.
Those are dad sunglasses,
They're fine.
man. Those are dad glasses for sure. They look good.
Right.
Yeah. That's a man who's had 2 kids.
These are good lawn staring sunglasses. I'm gonna stare at the lawn so hard.
If somebody's making too much noise on your outside of your house.
Here, wait. Here, let me just. Yeah, good furrowed
Scowl.
brow
Yeah,
glasses.
100%.
Can't really. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
No, it's giving big Dwayne the Rock Johnson vibe.
Really,
Yeah.
boys?
There
Really?
You go. Yeah.
Now listen, Shady Rays are an independent sunglass company, and there are not a lot of those left. That's important. If you look at who owns all the sunglass companies, it's like 2 companies. And Shady Rays are not one of them. They're independent. They offer
Let's get into that.
a world-class product. Oh, there's lots of complaints about it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, let's
their
do
product
5
has been
minutes on
rated
that.
5 stars by 300,000 people, and their shades have durable frames, crystal clear optics, and it makes them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. Whatever your style, it's not just what Steve has here. There are hundreds of styles at shadyrays.com, and use that promo code SDP because when you buy 2 pairs of polarized sunglasses, you're going to get 50% off the total price. Again, shadyrays.com, use the code SDP for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. If you don't love what you got, you can return them 30 days risk-free. Let's talk about Edmonton, Dallas. A rematch of a series that when we were growing up, we saw over and over. Stop it.
No.
Over and
I need
over
to know.
and over again.
Fuck.
And Edmonton.
You need to know what?
Who the third team was?
Who Austin Matthews scored against.
Your brain is actually broken.
Go ahead.
Hayden actually broke this out for me. Dating back to the North Stars.
The Sens? Fuck.
The Edmonton Oilers record versus the Stars, Dallas, and Minnesota
Okay.
is 2-6 all time. They swept them twice. Once in 1984. Edmonton swept them once. Dallas swept them the other time in 1999. But the 1997 series, which is the one that everybody really remembers, is the Curtis Joseph diving across the net to make the save in one of his last games as an Oiler before he signed in Toronto.
Yeah.
And the Oilers and Stars would go on to play each other in 98, 99, 2000, 2001, and 2003.
Probably the most underrated rivalry of that era.
It was great. It was like
friggin' fantastic.
Somebody in the chat said it was as good as, I don't know if it was as good as, but it was definitely, there was more of it when it came to Detroit and Colorado as well in the Western Conference. They hated each other.
We had Toronto, Ottawa, who played each other every friggin' year. We had Detroit and Colorado, who didn't have to play each other every friggin' year because they packed about a decade's worth of hate into a couple series. And that one, Edmonton, Dallas.
And there were series where it looked like Edmonton might. You always rooted for them. And there was no salary cap, and Canadian dollar wasn't great. So, you know, the spending was off the charts for Dallas and not so much for Edmonton. But it just never quite worked out. And I'll say this. It was really interesting last night to watch these two quote-unquote heavyweights do absolutely nothing to each other in the first period. I was blown away by how tentative both teams were in the first period. And it's because everybody looked at this series like everybody looks at Florida and New York as it's going to be violent. And we're not quite sure.
It wasn't really.
It wasn't.
There were some big hits, but
Dallas, Edmonton, people were like, yes.
Yeah.
It's the unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
Yeah.
And the first period felt like we're both going to let the game come to us. And
the problem with good hockey teams is they know how to play hockey.
Boo.
I know.
Boo.
Oh, man, we're going to have so many goals. Well, we're the best 4 teams in the NHL, so perhaps not.
Perhaps not. Now, I will say Edmonton did a good job killing off a couple penalties in the first period, and Edmonton fans were complaining about the reffing last night, but there was really only one call that I can really say wasn't a call, which is Dylan Holloway. Even Matt Duchene grabbing McDavid's stick. You can try to get your stick loose, but if you hit someone in the face with it, you're still getting a penalty.
Well, you're also allowed to call a maximum of 25% of the infractions that happen to Connor McDavid.
Oh, right.
Otherwise, the whole game will be 5-on-3 for the Oilers.
True.
I thought
he had a lot of penalty time.
I thought the refs would have been justified in calling something withholding the stick.
Yes.
Plus the high sticking. So it should have been a 2 instead of a 4. Because you call the double minor, obviously, because you're in charge of your stick and it hits him in the face and he's bleeding. But there should have been something on you're holding the guy and his stick, and that's the reason it went up. So I thought they could have cut it in the middle there and just given him 2.
And the weird part was they didn't make a call originally. And then they made a call.
Yeah.
And I didn't know they could do that.
Yeah, they all kind of huddled up and were like, okay, did we see that happen? Yeah, kind of. And he's bleeding. Okay, so it definitely happened. Let's call it.
And it's funny because it was Kelly Sutherland in game 1 with Edmonton, Vancouver, who didn't make the call when Quinn Hughes was hit in the face with a stick by Connor McDavid and bleeding.
Yep, and that should have been called. And I think Connor McDavid losing it on the ref was an enjoy to watch. I like seeing him emote that much because you don't see it that often. So I like seeing him lose it on the ref and be like, "Why the fuck are you calling this?" And then them just be like, "Go to the box, Connor. Go to the box," and then him eventually going in.
He's definitely saved it. Like when he was losing his mind after beating Vancouver, I went, "Oh, where's that Connor been?"
Yeah.
And like he's definitely saved it. From the second they lost to Vegas last year, I was like, this team's on a friggin' mission. And there were times this year, well, excluding the beginning of the year where they were terrible, where even when they were playing well, I'm like, I still don't know if this is a champion. And the more they play, the more they look like it.
I think Connor McDavid kind of learned from the Sidney Crosby school of if you're a star and you complain, people will call you a crybaby. So you can't really complain all the time. And he's really dialed it back from the early part of his career, just like Crosby was. And now Crosby is like, nobody thinks about Crosby like that anymore. And I think all of that narrative around McDavid's kind of coming back around as well. And with the Edmonton Oilers playing playoff style hockey, the big thing about Edmonton is their defense is phenomenal. Like
It's actually great. Yeah.
A 4-for-4 on the penalty kill, especially, and then the double minor and OT. And the way they shut down Vancouver in Game 7, except for the last 8 minutes of the third there. But the last 3 minutes, they didn't allow a shot on goal. And then the Game 6 as well in Vancouver stifled them. And then now in Game 1 here, they're playing great defense, and they're limiting the Stars team.
And I don't think they played that great a defense in the first 10 minutes of the game when Stuart Skinner saved them. He made some real good saves. Like, we're saying all these things about the Oilers that you just don't expect to say.
And the Stuart Skinner, his job has been easier too.
Yes.
Because Vancouver. Edmonton's done a great job keeping the shots to the outside and really low danger. And the only time you're getting goals is when that shot from the outside comes on the rebound goal there, and Desharnais blows his assignment. That's how the goals are coming. They're not allowing these big plays off the rush to Robertson or Johnston. And the couple times it did happen, Stuart Skinner's there. So great overall play there by the Oilers.
I think when you look at how they came out in the second period too, Leon Draisaitl scoring within the first minute, always a dagger, and then Zach Hyman using that beautiful ass of his,
Man,
butt power.
12 goals in 13 games these playoffs. It's funny. So I had that Cody Ceci stat from the other day where I said he has as many goals in his past 2 Game 7s as the entire Leafs team does in their last 2 Game 7s. I was going to talk about how Zach Hyman has more career playoff goals than any Leaf. It wasn't noteworthy because he's had that since several weeks ago. He's smashing them. I think he's 7 goals up on the highest scoring one. Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares even. Dude.
And that line came alive last night. I really didn't see them when I don't know, maybe in Game 7 it was a bit different, but games 1 through 6 versus Vancouver, they were a non-factor. It was Leon Draisaitl. Last night they were fantastic. And I kept thinking Nuge was going to score in overtime. He ended up being an assist guy on that, but it was really great. And then here's the thing. You get what I thought was hilarious was Tyler Seguin scores twice as it's sort of like a throwback. Because as the Dallas Stars have progressed, he was he and Ben were the guys, and now their careers have sort of tailed off, and they've got their new guys. They got your Stankovens and your Robertsons and whoever else. But that line with Dadonov is really good,
dude.
It's a third line.
They're 4 lines deep. I keep saying it. They're an extremely deep team. But what Edmonton keeps doing against every opponent is they're like, okay, you might be deeper than us, but we have a line that no matter what you do, we have a group of guys who will cut through you like a hot knife through butter. And, I was really against letting go of Jay Woodcroft. I still think he's a great coach. Whoever gets him is going to get a great coach. But it's almost like you need an outsider to come and grab you by the shoulders and go, all of you, here, Connor, Evan, Leon, Zach, Ryan, step out of the room for a minute. And it's You isolate the whole rest of the team. Oh yeah, Matthias. Sorry, I forgot about you. The whole rest of the team, guys. Are you fucking serious? Not winning a Stanley Cup? Are you fucking serious? Not winning a Stanley Cup? Do you see who I just sent out of the room? You all ought to be ashamed of yourselves.
I like that. Yeah.
Skate like you hate the ice. Work, stick check, play defense, keep guys to the outside. And if I see you try and score a goal, I'm going to kick you in the penis.
Although, Warren Fogle.
They're capable of it.
Did you see the Warren Fogle breakaway?
Yes, I didn't say they're not allowed. Did he score?
No, he didn't.
I didn't say they're not allowed. No, breakaway's fine. But like, guys.
As a coach, breakaways are good. Breakaways are good.
You know how they talk about role players
Yeah.
being really important to winning a Stanley Cup? That's everyone still remaining in this room, including the goalies. Get in front of a puck. Thank you.
Stuart Skinner saw the ice really well last night.
He did. No, he did. He listened to Chris Knobloch. Get in front of a puck. Use your mustache if you have to. Everyone's playing their role. Like the focus is going to be on the Stars playing unstoppable as a unit. But this is also the best the Oilers' depth has ever performed.
Oh, yeah. The Stars, I think, like, there's no way they're out of this series. Like,
No.
they're going to be in this. This is going to be a long one. It's going to be 6 or 7. And I liked what I saw of them mixing it up and having Sagan and Robertson on the same line with Dodonov and not going with just the kid line, because they're running that for a little bit there, where it was Johnston, Stankoven, and Robertson together. And I like that they add the veteran presence there to that line. And I think moving forward, they're really going to want Rupa Hintz back. I feel like
forget that he's not playing, right?
Yeah, he's been out for the last 3 playoff games. I think for this one would make it 4. But I hear there's rumors that he's progressing. Like, he might be able to come back early in this series. And I feel like if Rupa Hintz is back in that lineup, then you become even deeper in the forward group. And Dallas, like you've mentioned a lot, Steve, the way they can just run everybody out there, and they can beat any of the other 3 lines that the Edmonton Oilers can put out there, especially if they have Hintz in that lineup.
They're so friggin' deep. Everyone can score.
Yeah.
You know how, like, every championship run, there's the blank game. Like, there's this game. Like, I can't talk about the Leafs on account of they never win shit, but I go back to the Raptors championship run. Like, there was the there was the Siakam game. There was the, surprisingly, Danny Green game. And
The shot.
yeah, well, and ironically, I don't know if the finals necessarily had like a Kawhi game, but the clinching game was the Lowry game.
Yeah.
Scored their first 11 points. You know what I mean? And the Stars have so
The
many.
hockey one, I think, is the best example in recent memory, is the Kadri game. Do you remember when Kadri came back from injury and then scored the OT winner?
Yep.
That was the Kadri game along the way for the Colorado Avalanche to win the Stanley Cup.
And the Stars just have an infinite number of guys who are capable of giving you that game. Oh, it's the Wyatt Johnston game.
Yeah.
Last night was the Tyler Seguin game, and they wasted it.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a problem, but they have just a number of guys who are capable of giving you that night.
Yeah, none of those names, like you name everybody in the forward group, if they randomly stepped up that night and had like a hat trick or something, you wouldn't be that surprised.
No.
You're like, that person has that in them.
Sam Steele would surprise me.
Sam Steele a little bit.
He has, I'm pretty sure, an NHL hat.
Well, there you go.
There you go. But I feel like every guy on Dallas has that in them.
Yes.
The ability to be a game breaker, which is just crazy.
I want to throw this at you guys. Okay. So the Dallas defense pairings are Thomas Harley, Miro Heiskanen, Esa Lindell, Chris Tanev, Ryan Suter, Alex Petrovic. Okay. Of those 3 pairings, who is the worst in expected goals against per 60 in the playoffs?
Don't tell me Heiskanen.
It's not.
Oh, well, then good. That's what I expected. I thought you were going to give me something surprising. Is it the third pair?
It is not. It's Lindell Tanev. And that
Really?
is really surprising because that's the matchup that Dallas is looking for against McDavid. And last night, that McDavid line came alive. Now, doesn't mean that it's... Lindell, Tanev are probably going to play your top team's your team's top players, right? So maybe their numbers don't look all that great. And frankly, Dallas could have easily won this game. There was a Robertson post in the
It's a double overtime.
yeah. There was a Robertson post though in the regular, I almost said regulation on the power play. It went right by Stuart Skinner. We could be talking about a 3-2 Dallas win tonight, but it's. I just think it's interesting and something to keep an eye on. I don't think there's anything definitive yet. Lindell, Tanev versus the McDavid line, how well they're able to hold that back. Because, if we go to the first overtime with 5 minutes to go, and McDavid is wide open in front of the net and has the puck, and he waits. If he hadn't waited, it's over. Mm-hmm. Just put it in. And what I loved about him after the game was he was like, no, that has to go in. It's like it's nice that he made the save. It has to go in. Yep. But you know who? And everybody's giving Jake Ottinger, and they should, his props. But you know who caught him was Chris Tanev. Mm-hmm. Chris Tanev got in the way and made sure that shot wasn't very good.
Sometimes the puck gets on your stick, and it's like, "Bah, what are you doing?" Like people don't realize it's there.
But what I love about McDavid is like no excuses. That needs to go in. End of story.
No, I know. One of the worst ones of these playoffs is Swayman gave it away. Behind his net, and Marner's like, and like just continued to go around the net, and it's like, no, if you stop up, it's a goal.
Yeah.
Fuck. But sorry, it's of all the storylines, that one gets talked about the least in terms of reasons to be mad.
It wasn't. I know exactly the play you're talking about, and there was a couple other plays where he could have driven the net, and he just went, you know what? How about I go wide?
No, but you're not expecting that. I'm not saying he did anything wrong.
No, but you're not.
Nor am I saying McDavid did anything wrong. It's just sometimes it shows up and you're like, what the fuck? And it just takes a sec.
What do I do?
It takes a sec to compute.
Yeah.
That's why goal sucks. Like guys who have over the course of their career make their bread and butter in front of the net, like Pavelski and Hyman. Like people act like it's easy.
Oh no.
It's a hard job.
Yeah.
Someone has to do a lot of the legwork, but it's a really specific skill that not a lot of people can do.
Mm-hmm. Adam, to add on to your stats, I don't think you mentioned it. They were on Lindell and Tanev were on for all 3 goals last night. Like
that's because McDavid, Hyman were on for all 3 goals last night, right?
Yeah, those are the 2 defensemen who got beat on every goal.
So they got their matchup.
Yeah. Do you learn something from that? Like, you got your matchup. Should it be?
Well,
is it good to hold those guys to 3 goals because they're fucked?
Well, yeah, they are. But remember, it's Vancouver shut them down.
Ish.
Yeah. I think Vancouver did about as good a job as you can do.
That's a good way of putting it.
Right? You can't stop them. You contain them.
Have the Oilers played?
What, this year?
This playoffs.
7 plus. What was the first round?
LA 5.
Oh, yeah. They ran over LA in
12, 13.
So in those 13 games, McDavid has 20 assists. I feel this narrative around McDavid has been cold these playoffs. He hasn't been otherworldly, but he's been great.
His standard
3 goals, 20 assists.
His standard's preposterous.
Yeah. Especially because the guy next to him in Draisaitl is putting on one of the greatest playoff performances of all time.
Yes.
Definitely of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I was saying it last night. I think, again, he's got 8 or 9 of the 13 games. He scored in every game. He's had a point in every game, I mean.
Draisaitl
has. But I think
13-game point streak.
8 or 9 of them have been multi-point. Mm-hmm. And not last night. Last night was not a multi-point game. He did get a goal, though. So, it's just ridiculous and stupid, and I hate it as a Leaf fan. But, man, it was an exciting game. And I love going to double overtime. And what was amazing about double overtime is when McDavid scores, and no one's talking about this today, Chris Knobloch could not have got off the ice faster. They were trying to review that goal for a goaltender interference. And Chris Knobloch is like making his way over, and in Dallas, you have to walk across the ice to get out.
Yeah.
Oh, so dude, he's in his dress shoes, making his way across the ice.
Not goaltender interference. They think Hyman might have played the puck with a high stick.
Oh, is that what it was?
So then the play should have been stopped at that moment. I think it was.
Either way, it should have been.
Well, right.
The Oilers couldn't have done this because they were on the road. But if you have one of those goals scored at home, ask for forgiveness later. Every team should have confetti. The overtime confetti button. Pfft. Oh, my finger slipped. I pressed the confetti button. Oh, no. It's going to take us 45 minutes to clean this up before we can continue the game. Oh, no. I guess we should just Leave it.
I think that's what they did with Dallas.
result.
That's what they did with Dallas Buffalo. It's like, oh no, the Cubs
Yeah.
are here. They shined it up and everything. Let's just go ahead and give it to them.
Do you want to know how absolutely cracked Leon Draisaitl is?
Yeah.
So his first playoff was 2017. He's third in NHL scoring in the Stanley Cup playoffs since his playoff debut in 2017.
Okay.
Kucherov is first with 125 points. McKinnon is second with 104.
Okay.
Kucherov's 21 points up on the second place guy. I'll get back to that in a minute. Draisaitl has 102. Here's the difference. Kucherov has played 102 games. McKinnon has played 81. Draisaitl has played 62. He has 102 playoff points in 62 playoff games, which is 1.65 points per game, which, you're not going to believe this,
Is a lot?
is the most since 2017. Number 2 is Connor McDavid, 1.58. So, like, Draisaitl is better than McDavid when it comes to the playoffs.
And putting up points.
In terms of putting, yeah, but you got to give out a Conn Smythe right now, which they're 7 wins away from that. It's Draisaitl
Or Joseph Wall.
or Joseph Wall.
True.
One or the other.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, 1-2.
Should go to a Leaf.
What is that about again?
What do you mean?
Didn't someone actually put a bet on that?
I don't think so.
I thought someone put a bet on that. I just saw Justin Cuthbert on Twitter go, well, RIP to the worst bet I've ever made, because Rick Tocchet won the Jack Adams. At the beginning of the season, he placed a bet on Mike Babcock.
So win in Columbus.
First off,
Oops.
Justin, are you unaware of the Columbus Blue Jackets generally?
No,
It's
we
never
were
gonna play
no.
out.
on the Jackets.
No, if you stink and then get unstink, like even sort of, dude, Tortorella got Jack
did.
Adams votes and
He
he
did.
didn't
He did.
make the playoffs.
He did.
There were two coaches in the top 10 who didn't even make the playoffs. You're telling me if the Blue Jackets like sneak into a wild card with Babcock, he's not winning it with more first place votes than Tocchet got?
There's a runaway landslide.
Run away. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
The bet made sense. How it unfolded is
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, in Justin's defense, he didn't lose a single game.
Yeah.
It's rare for a coach to get hired and not lose a single game.
Adam Wild.
Yes.
On your stream, since we're on Leon Draisaitl, just a little away from the game, you brought this up. You're breaking news just like Saudi Steve. Leon Draisaitl to the San Jose Sharks.
Yes.
Why did someone ask you about this, and what information did you have on this? I didn't know this.
I don't know why. So I don't know why this came out, but there have been rumors about this for a while.
Okay.
Can I tell you why? Like immediately?
Yeah.
Let him know. I was gonna say that's why
There was a rumor about if they had lost the second round that he would have been close to gone, right? But I don't know where that came from.
Well, the Sharks have reportedly gotten permission to talk to Marco Sturm, who is currently with the LA Kings. Sturm could become the head coach of the San Jose Sharks. Before Draisaitl arrived, Sturm was probably the best German-born hockey player of all time. Well, skater, Olaf Kolzig. But German-born hockey player of all time. So they immediately went, oh, 2 German guys. Bang.
Yeah.
But you were talking about something interesting about the SAP Center.
Yeah, because from what I understand, so the chairman of SAP is a guy named Hasso Plattner, who owns the San Jose Sharks.
Is he German?
What do you think?
He sounds like it.
Yeah. And all I said was, and I've heard this from several different people, all I said was, there will be, but there aren't a lot of people of German descent in North American hockey at the highest level.
It's increasing.
So it's increasing, but they would all know each other.
No, you know what? That is valid.
Right?
That's valid.
So
that's valid.
So I don't know that that's necessarily the case. But that is why I think the links are being made. I have no direct insider knowledge on this, but that's why people are going, well, there could be something here, because they absolutely know each other. And so And also San Jose, I hear, is a great place to live, especially when you're making what, 15 million, whatever he's going to make in his next deal.
Well, I assume the crux of this whole thing is the Sharks would pay the most for him.
They would absolutely pay the most for him, no question. And I think that's the other key here is if and I hate to do this to Oilers fans in the middle of the playoffs, because if they go and they win cups, I don't think this is a conversation.
This is all hypothetical and it could be irrelevant.
But if you're Leon, actually, if you do win a cup, and you're like, I just want to cash out. And San Jose is building a very good program. Let's be honest. They got the first overall pick this year. If they want a centerpiece star, it's going to take a couple years, but he's not up until the end of next year. They are absolutely, I would say, one of the teams they're going to pay a fortune for him. And why wouldn't they? And I mean, everybody would. But, I mean, if you're already friends with the owner, right?
I mean,
if you're friendly with the owner, it's probably...
Worst case, you use it as leverage.
100%. Yeah. And listen, I think, let's say Edmonton gets a cup win this year, and then they finish in the cup finals next year, but they don't win. I don't think Leon's going to leave that.
No.
Or if they get to the finals this year and they win next year, I don't think he's going to leave that.
This is officially the deepest he's been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because he's injured, right?
Well, no, because
they've never won a game in the conference finals.
there it is. Jesse nailed it. Yeah, they made it to the conference final 2022, just 2 years ago, but they didn't win a game.
Yeah. Wow.
They're 7 wins shy of the Stanley Cup right now.
Yeah. So, like, I think a lot of this probably is hopefulness on the Sharks' part.
Yeah, and like I don't want anybody to twist it like you're reporting.
I'm not.
Anything. It's explaining why there is a there.
Yes.
Why people are making a connection.
No, Adam's always going on about like, oh, I'm a Sharks truther. So yeah, this is him just going with his bit.
People are making links, and those are kind of the reasons behind why there's links.
You know what it kind of reminds me of is like
World
the
War
way
II.
it reminds me.
Napoleon.
No, it doesn't remind me of that. It reminds me of like when we had Richard Petty on and he talked about courting Brian Burke, even though Brian was under contract, right? You know, Richard wouldn't actually approach him with the deal, but what he'd be like is like, man, it sure looked good with Brian Burke running the Toronto Maple Leafs, wouldn't it? Like stuff like that. And you know, you're playing coy, you're flirting, but you're not really, you're not really saying much. And I think
Was Brian Burke Richard Petty's work wife?
I think so. Richard Petty, they wanted Brian Burke. So
What?
fierce.
There's nothing. It's what? What?
It's just texting him. Oh my God, you guys would get along so well.
What?
He's so funny.
You could always tell exactly what Reddits I've read in the morning before a show.
Yes, absolutely. Anyway, long story short, that's what I think it is, and I think this all squarely comes down to what the Oilers are able to do. The regular season's complete, and so is the first round. And so is the second round. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the third round with the king of sportsbooks, BetMGM.
Whoa.
Listen,
Final Four.
Final Four. How do you feel about it?
Feel pretty good. I feel the gravity of how friggin' difficult it is to win the Stanley Cup, because all 4 of those teams did something that only 4 teams did, and they're still only halfway there. You need 16 wins to get the cup. They only have 8. Math.
I feel like Jesse's looking up something right now.
I want to know what the payout is for a Dallas championship. So the Dallas Mavericks win the NBA championship, and the Dallas Stars win the Stanley Cup.
So you're building
and
that
I've
right now.
got it here.
Okay, so how much money you're putting down?
Let's say I put down $10.
$10.
Whoa.
$10.
Whoa.
Big
Yeah,
money
it's-
over here.
it's a lot.
All right.
It pays out
5 times more than I'm used to.
23 times your money. So $230 for a Stars Mavericks championship. All Dallas. Let's go.
And they're both in the Final Four.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Dallas is down 1-0 to Edmonton.
Dallas is up 1-0 over Minnesota.
Oh. Wow.
See?
Good for Dallas.
See that? This is how
Dallas
you.
is doing good things.
This is how you get off the bench and into the game with the king of sportsbooks. Jesse just showed you.
Yeah.
It's time for big time hockey, and BetMGM is your place for all things hockey. Log in or sign up today. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 19 plus to wager. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. BetMGM operates pursuant with operating agreement
messed
with
up.
iGaming Ontario. I tried.
It's invalid.
And let's talk about a free agent from the Oilers.
No.
it was reported yesterday that Don Waddell of the Carolina Hurricanes interviewed for the Columbus Blue Jackets job. It's also been reported that Ken Holland has been linked to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting about the Don Waddell thing is that, and I'm tying this into the Oilers with Holland, is that last time Don Waddell was up, and I think it was CJ that brought this up with you, he interviewed to be the Minnesota GM and then was like, nah, I'll stay in Carolina at whatever number they're paying me. Mm-hmm. And so I think Tom Dundon is playing chicken again, but I think this time he's got Eric Tulsky waiting, and does he need him?
Well, and do you just want the latest news?
Is it new?
As of 32 minutes ago, Carolina Hurricanes president and general manager Don Waddell has resigned from his post.
Whoa!
Assistant general manager Eric Tulsky will take over for Waddell on an interim basis with the support of fellow assistant Darren York. The organization has begun a full search for a permanent GM. Waddell's contract was set to expire.
Wow.
So I think there's probably a deal in place with Columbus there, and I wouldn't be shocked if Ken Holland still joined him. Just because, why not?
So the quote from Waddell, I'm just reading from The Score. This morning, I spoke with owner Tom Dundon and informed him that I have come to the decision that now is the time for me to move to the next chapter of my career. I have loved my experiences in the triangle is that what they call it? The triangle?
Is it because of the storm warning thing?
I don't know.
Not Bermuda.
Somebody from Carolina, let us know why it's called the Triangle. I have loved my experiences in the Triangle over the past 10 years, and together with a strong team on and off the ice, we have accomplished many great victories. I am grateful for the support I received. So many, organization is strong. Nothing really else except thanking people. Anyways, Don Waddell resigned.
I'm trying to look up Raleigh on a map.
I don't think
it doesn't look like a
this
triangle.
is where we don't. You know what? Ask Steve. Save this for the chat tonight with Steve. Super chat him. Hey Steve, why is it called the Carolina Triangle?
I don't know.
Adam, your point. What is now? What does your opinion change on things now that he's officially out?
I pissed off a Columbus Blue Jackets fan. One Columbus Blue Jackets fan who was in the stream last night.
Okay.
Because we ran a clip from Wednesday's show, and I said they're the worst run organization now that the Coyotes are gone, and they are. They are. The results are clear as day. And if you want, don't take my word for it. Read Aaron Portzline's article. I believe it is titled "Columbus Blue Jackets: The Team That Parody Forgot."
Oh, that Leafs fan?
Yeah. Aaron, and Portsy's the man, right? Portsy rules. And I just want to say, the problem for me is that John Davidson has been the guy that's been in charge the entire time. And if you talk to people,
that issue's going around, isn't it?
Don Waddell has done a great job in Carolina. But when you talk to people about it, they say, well, actually, a lot of that's Eric Tulsky.
Yeah, it's valid to bring up for the right reasons. I think it's okay to be like, Tulsky does a lot of the legwork here to gas up Tulsky. I don't like it to knock down Don Waddell.
Mm-hmm. I think Don's had a great career, and at whether or not he created some of these deals, he executed them.
Yeah, but
he signed off.
And that's
a good thing.
That's his job, right?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you always hear about GM and this is the guy who actually made all the calls. Oh, you mean did his job? Mm-hmm. The assistant GM on a lot of teams, it's their job to make a lot of the calls.
Well, and I think you look at the way he's performed, and then we were talking about last night, because Ken Holland catches a lot of shit, and he should, for some of the moves he's made. But he also should get a lot of flowers for some of the things. Like, listen, the Darnell Nurse contract, the Jack Campbell contract, was Cody Ceci the guy? Didn't have to be. But
he's 7 wins away from being on the ice to hoist the cup.
That's it. And Matthias Ekholm, who cares what Edmonton gave up? I know it was Tyson Barrie and stuff.
No, it was a very good deal.
Incredible deal.
Not a single Oilers fan on the planet regrets that deal.
Zach Hyman's deal.
Oh.
Now, he might have lucked into that a little bit, but he knew he was getting a fantastic NHLer. Nobody thought Zach was going to be 50 goals, Zach.
No one on the planet Earth knew that.
So you look at that and you go, I look at those two guys, and let's say only one of them goes to Columbus. I think it's obviously Don's looking like he's going. Maybe Ken, whose deal is up, and he's probably on the way out in Edmonton. maybe he's out too. The Connor Brown deal wasn't great, but but you can blame your president for that. The thing I look at and I go, okay, Columbus does need veteran leadership. Yarmo was not a general manager before he was a GM in Columbus.
They could use a little boring.
They need boring, and they need kind of been there before. Because what the Columbus Blue Jackets need is to bring the temperature down. The Babcock stuff, having a coach you didn't want. Torts was always high, it was high heat under Torts. That's the way he coached. And then the guy that took over for him, I can't even remember his name. Columbus fans were like, oh no.
Oh, Larson?
And Columbus fans were the first ones to say, this is a bad hire. And so sometimes veteran stuff kind of it's like when Jim Rutherford took over in Vancouver. There were a lot of geysers that he had to put his hands on to kind of, a lot of shit went wrong in his first year. But you look at the progression of the Canucks after that, the way that ownership has kind of calmed down, the way that the team has performed to the level of the talent that they have on the roster.
There's definitely something there because the whole time you're going, I was going, the Canucks feel too good to be this bad. And the next year comes and you're like, oh boy, still bad.
Yeah.
They feel too good to be this bad. What's going on? And then they finally found the right mix.
And they got rid of their captain. Ooh, bad guy.
Yeah, shitty. Piece of shit. Shitty. No, it just...
The right coach and the right president.
And also they were never... It helps when you're never supposed to be that bad.
And I think if you look at Columbus's roster, there's a lot more talent there than results.
Yes. Well, need help up the middle.
But you have... First off, they have poorly managed their prospects. The way that they mishandled David Juracek, the way they mishandled Kent Johnson, those things are okay. Kent Johnson came to camp under or overweight or whatever it was. He was out of shape. He's still your best center. So bag skate him and keep him up. Don't send him to the freaking Cleveland Monsters.
No.
You gotta kind of take a step forward here. And I think you need guys that understand how to bring a bunch of talented players together. And they do need a goalie. They need a goalie.
Yes. Often helps when you can stop them.
So we'll see what happens. But I'm done. What do you think? That deal's done by this afternoon? Are we getting a Friday afternoon news dump?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Also, do you think, and I don't know if this matters to a guy like Tom Dundon, but Steve, let's say I was your boss.
Okay.
I was your daddy. And every
Sir,
time...
please put your feet away.
Every time your contract...
Sir, I'm just trying to keep
Let me tell you about when I was a kid. Gripper Nation.
Professional work environment.
Grip the world.
How are you going to tell Everly about this?
I don't know. I'm hoping there's a lot of stuff she just doesn't ask about. We produce a lot of content, so some of this stuff can get buried.
I'll tell her.
But
I'm not looking forward to the third grade when Leo's like, Dad, who's David Ayres?
Oh no, I know. If every time, guys, your contract came up, and I, as your owner, despite the fact that you're regularly in the second round, say, yeah, I'm not giving you shit. Yeah, go interview with somebody else. The first time you might be like, okay, I'm going to negotiate back. The second time you might be like, yeah, this is exhausting. I don't want to do this.
No, that's exactly what I said with Rod Brindamore, Adam. And he decided to stay because he wanted to. Waddell's done. He has something else he'd like to do. Rod Brindamore wants to keep his family there. He's been there forever. That's fine. That's great.
But he's leaving money on the table.
He's leaving money on the table to pursue happiness. Waddell's like, meh. There's lots of places.
I also think it helps when your kids are grown.
Yeah, that too.
Rod's kids aren't grown yet. No. And you don't want to be moving around when your kids aren't grown.
No.
So what do you need to see tonight from we haven't talked about the Florida Rangers game very much. It got a little disastrous in the third.
So no, believe me, I'm not just gonna be like it was boring. It's not that it was boring. Florida Panthers played really, really, really good hockey. I don't know if the Rangers were quite as bad as the shot counter seemed to suggest. They were missing high and wide on a lot of stuff. Panthers were getting in the way. The passion, the spirit the Rangers played with was unacceptable. completely unacceptable.
And you said
especially
bad
as
body language. You kept saying bad
horrible body language, especially as the game got late. It was over. Like, it was over. And what's funny is, like, Alexi Lafreniere scored on his own friggin' net. And even he, in the final couple minutes, was playing like the world would end if he didn't score. The rest of the guy, like, I just expected so much more.
Yeah.
They looked so defeated on the bench. They didn't. It looked like coming back and winning that game was completely impossible. You know what I mean?
I do.
And it's 2024. Like, I'm used to feeling like any lead is possible to overcome. Oilers were up 2-0 last night. I'm like, meh. And I was right. That game went to double overtime. You know, we've seen 3-0 leads evaporate in these playoffs. I think even 4, like, at least be brought close, and 4-1 get taken down. But they're down 2-0 on home ice, 1-0 for most of it. Not even really able to generate any shots and just pouting about it. It's not the New York Rangers that I've come to know. I was
It might just be a one-game thing.
It could just be a one-game thing,
Now,
obviously.
If you're a goaltender,
10 the goal.
can we talk about that?
Yes.
Jesse, can we talk about that?
Sure. Igor's mistake to go out and play it and then Laugh hitting the puck into his own net.
Yeah, that wasn't Laugh's fault. It was a little Laugh's fault. But, like, it wasn't really his fault.
Well,
I blame the goalie for, like, okay. If you're a goaltender, 10 the goal. In certain situations, leave the goal to play the puck properly. When a goalie leaves to play the puck, the crux of them doing it, the contract that they write up and sign with the rest of their team and everyone in attendance is, I'm not going to fuck this up. You know, you leave the net to play. A defenseman gives it away. Forward gives it away, whatever. Oh no! Goalie might stop it. If a goalie gives it away, it's over. It's curtains. It's in the net. And this wasn't 100% that. Like, oh boy. Look at that. Like,
Explain it for people listening.
go behind you. All right, so right in the middle of the screen, you got Shesterkin. And he's way out of his net. The Rangers need a goal here. There's 3:54 to go. So he does have a defenseman right there that he could give the puck to, in theory. It's a bit of a dangerous area. What I imagine he's trying to do, and we can't see in the shot, is advance the puck up the ice quickly so that the Rangers can attack. And if you let that, who is that, Verhaeghe? If you let Verhaeghe get to the puck first, he probably plays it by Jesse's. Oh my God, it's so bad. Here, no, stay on that one.
Yeah.
Stay on that one.
This is so Shesterkin's at the face-off dot, and he's trying to hit the puck off the glass that's closest to him and up the ice and around Verhaeghe.
Right. So, like, you play it into the corner, Verhaeghe gets it. It's not in a dangerous spot, but he wastes time. Because
you say he plays into the corner. If Shesterkin turns around and plays into the corner, it's not with Verhaeghe at all. It rings around the board.
Well, this is what
that's what boards do.
No, like, even if he just taps it into the corner and Verhaeghe's the first one there.
No,
and
it would ring.
And it just dies in the corner, Jesse.
It wouldn't. It would ring.
The other scenario is he rings it around, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Or he plays it behind him, or he advances it high up the... Like, he did the one thing he couldn't do, which is pass it to Carter Verhaeghe. And Laugh is just doing his job. Like, Chris Kreider, I like Chris Kreider coming to his defense. He's like, well, no, Laugh's doing what he should be doing. I mean, except for the whole hitting it into his net part. But, like... You know, there was another Panther comes into the screen, and he's like, yeah, I'll cut off the pass, which is what Verhaeghe was trying to do, by the way. And then, tap right into the net. Shesterkin, it's funny. Early in the game, I remember saying to the chat, because, again, I don't cover these guys every single game. So I'm getting to learn their tendencies. Like, I don't even know if I've ever done a Shesterkin series. I've done a Bob one. I've done a Panthers one. I don't know if I've ever done a Rangers one. And it took 5 minutes into the game for me to be like, Shesterkin plays the puck a lot.
Yep.
And Drew, as the producer for that stream, was looking it up. He's like, I found this Rangers thread from like 2019 about Shesterkin plays the puck too much. And what ended up not costing the Rangers the game, but definitely cost their chance to come back in this game was him leaving his net to play the puck. Not necessarily needlessly. He probably needed to make a play on this puck, but he did the one thing that you couldn't do, which is hit the puck directly into the glass. It dies right there. And one of the most dangerous players left in the playoffs gets the puck.
I think the Rangers would have won the race to the puck if he never played it, based on this screenshot here.
He's trying to... At this point, like, the clock is a factor. So what he's probably thinking is, I got to get the puck up the ice. And even if Verhaeghe is yeah, you're right. Gus. So who's that player? Who's the defender? Is it Eric Gustafsson?
I don't remember.
He's absolutely going to be he's going to be the first one to this puck by like a pretty wide margin. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
you know what?
Numbers.
What are you doing? Leave it. But like, what are you doing?
Oh, this is just pain.
It's
Watching
pain.
this over and over and over again is pain. One of the funniest tweets
Where's
I saw.
Keandre Miller? I don't have my glasses on.
One of the funniest tweets I saw was, imagine spending $700 to go see that game and watch Laugh score against his own net, or watch your first overall pick score against his own net, and then going back to your 200 square foot $2,000 a month apartment. Dude, I was like,
man,
wow, we're dunking on
Don't
New
throw
York.
stones in a high rent city like Toronto.
No, I know.
Like, what are you talking
No,
about?
it was a Florida person chirping a New York person.
Oh,
That's why.
okay.
I thought that was funny.
They showed the some of the fans at MSG, and I saw in their face and in their expressions after that goal a very familiar expression of not just, oh no, my team lost, but financial peril.
Yes.
It had to be $700.
Yeah.
Just for everybody who's yelling at us, that's I got the screenshot where he's turned around. 56, that's Gustafsson. So
It is
there you go.
Gustafsson. I didn't have my glasses on, and I saw a 6. I'm like, it's one of them.
56, yeah, Gustafsson.
56. Yeah. Oh, wait. No, Miller's 79.
70. Keandre Miller's 79. Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I'm blank.
And who's 55 on is
Lindgren.
Lindgren.
Oh, I struggled very mightily with the jersey numbers.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a couple of games to get them all down in your brain.
I know who all these players are, but you're like, wow. Like, you got to get it really fast. I'll adapt. I've done it before. I've done it before. Game 2 is going to be friggin' great, I tell you.
I want to. Oh yeah, please, you can. Can I? Because you said, can I?
Carl?
Did you just say that?
I said tonight.
Oh, tonight.
Oh, tonight.
Game
What are you
2.
expecting tonight?
Tonight.
Well, what am I expecting?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that question was for Jesse. I went,
No.
What
No,
do we
you're
expect?
streaming to 4 times the charm.
Trying to promote your
Steve
stream.
is streaming tonight.
Nah.
What do we expect?
I don't know. I'll probably just do
By the way, you owe it to yourself to try to distract Steve.
No!
Just give him just weird stats to drill down on.
Oh! No, I expect a higher scoring game, obviously. That was essentially a 1-0 game.
Yep.
Because it was an empty netter and an own goal.
Yep.
So I definitely expect more goals. The Rangers are going to solve Bob. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at him to start the game. They're going to try to get Laugh one. I think Laugh is going to have an incredible game because he scored on his own net. And he's also just not a bad player. I expect big things out of Chris Kreider, who I really did not notice very much in that game. Panarin seemed to be like, every time he got the puck, he's like, anyone? Is anyone here? And I wonder if they open the Rempe door. But listen.
What you gonna do,
All right,
brother?
Mark Messier.
No. Listen, your point was valid. You're like, no, the fourth line played really well, and they should keep the fourth line together. And I'm like, you know what? All right. Fair enough. And then Florida's fourth line kicked New York's teeth in. Ryan Lomberg was a menace, an absolute menace. That whole unit was really, really good. I just think that building needs a little bit more energy in it. And like, it's funny. Like sometimes I hear myself say this shit, and I'm like, 2013, you would kick your ass, and I have lived more life than that person. Mm-hmm. I've seen a passionless team die over and over and over again. And listen, you shouldn't put a player into your lineup if it's going to severely reduce your chances of winning.
Yep.
I don't think putting Rempe in does that.
No.
It just doesn't do it. And the team needed the energy, it felt like, and they just did not have it. I expect a better effort from New York in this one. It wasn't just what the Panthers did to them. Who was it? Kachuk rocked Trocheck. I'm very interested to see if Trocheck feels better. I'm very interested to see if Reinhart feels better because he got rocked too. I just expect a better energy performance from the Rangers.
Okay.
It looks like Kako's going to be scratched based on the lines that came out of practice.
He was pretty invisible.
I don't know if that means Rempe's in, but Peter Laviolette was asked about it this afternoon, and this is what his response was.
Peter, I want to get clear. I'm not asking about the lineup at all tonight, but
they mic'd the reporter? What a country.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Peter, I want to get clear. I'm not asking about the lineup at all tonight, but yesterday, if you turn on any hockey outlet, the question they're talking about is, will Matt Rempe play in Game 2? And guys like Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier and Henrik Lundqvist are the ones saying it too. You can't really turn it off or turn away from it. Just curious how close you pay attention, or if you totally ignore those conversations, or if it even affects your decision making.
It does not. Any decision that I make is
Who's laughing?
based on the conversations that we have as a group internally here, and it's there's all kinds of you could pick any player. You can ask 10 people, and you might get 7 and 3 or 5 and 5.
I wonder where their absence
I
of
can't
passion
really
comes
make
from.
my decisions based on that.
Shut up.
The players that we do put in the lineup, we're hoping that they have a positive impact inside the game.
I think Rempe can be an important piece in the lineup tonight. And
Sure.
Seeing Peter Laviolette answer that question, like, I feel like he understands, like, okay, the outside noise can't influence it, but the on-ice noise can. And if you need somebody to stand up there and get people going, Matt Rempe's that guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bang. Crash. I think Trocheck's going to be fine because they were talking about his shoulder on the broadcast. But what the trainer was doing with him was working out his lat. Mm-hmm. And I think what might have happened is he got a rib or two knocked askew a little bit by that hit from Kachuk. And it's not comfortable, but it's a fixable problem. He can play through it. Reinhart looked messed up. Mm-hmm. So I'm very interested to see what happens.
You had thoughts on Peter Laviolette's face and his reaction there and his look towards the media?
It's okay. Pros and cons. Pro, they mic'd up the reporters.
Yeah.
Con, someone in that room very obviously shit themselves. Look at his face.
I think he's just keeping it calm, cool, and
No. Go to the beginning of the clip.
Okay,
he doesn't want to be asked by the New York media about the lineup.
Okay, there's a smile.
Yeah. I don't think he's bad.
You want to play it back?
Listen,
I'll play it back with no sound.
He's got resting coach face.
Yeah. I feel like he's just a hard-nosed guy.
Except for Knobloch, who looks consistently worried.
You're telling me no one shit themselves in that room?
I feel like he's just a hard-nosed guy listening to a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to here. Go
None of
back
those
to the
soft
beginning.
noses.
When he's listening.
The beginning of his answer, because I want to hear whoever that was in the room
Yesterday, if you turn on any hockey outlet, the question they're talking about is, will Matt Rempe play in Game 2? And
we got a
guys like Wayne
podcast
Gretzky
listener.
and Mark Messier and Henrik Lundqvist are the ones saying it too. You can't really turn it off or turn away from it.
Lundqvist was
Just
on their
curious how close you pay attention, or if you totally ignore those conversations, or if it even affects your decision making.
No,
It does not. Any decision that I make is
That little when he's like, it does not.
it does not. And
It
someone
does
thought that was a real knee slapper.
Yep.
That was a fun one.
I have one quick stat to run by you guys, and then I've got a quick thing on the Leafs. Okay, quick stat. with the potential $7 billion in annual rights deals looming with the NBA. NBA players could make up to $95 million a year on Supermax contracts in the future, and that's post next season.
Arrest Gary Bettman.
Meaning that one NBA player, and there will be Supermax deals signed, will make more than an entire NHL rosters do.
Arrest him.
Because we're expecting the salary cap to go up to $93 million in 2 years, and we don't even fully believe it. So
For a very brief moment, I'm like, does Adam Silver want it to get up to that number just to be like one player can make more than an entire NHL team? Or the correction to that thought that I had is, does Adam Silver spend a moment of his day thinking about the National Hockey
the second one.
Yeah.
The second one.
Yeah. In 2030, 2031, if Luka Doncic signs the Supermax contract that he is now eligible for because he made All NBA, his 1 year contract value in that season would be $78.8 million. So we're already almost there. How many NHL teams do not spend that much on salary entirely? What's the floor right now?
Oh, it's like, wasn't it
like
70?
60?
60?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, Luka Doncic alone will make in 2030, 2031 more than teams will spend this season.
This is going to be an all-time transition on this show. So we just talked about NBA players making $70, $80 million a year. Adam, what's your Leaf thing?
My Leaf thing is, are you ready for this? Two players, Bertuzzi and Domi, the rest of the Matthews line, right?
Yeah.
We'll start with Tyler Bertuzzi. There is actually mutual interest between Bertuzzi and the Leafs. Now, the reason I say that is, of course, the Leafs are interested in Bertuzzi. They signed him last year. But you might say, is Bertuzzi not interested in the Leafs? I can tell you for a fact that he did not go into last summer going, yes, I want to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. They just happened to still be there on July 2nd.
He Taylor Halled himself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so there is, the Leafs do want to re-sign him. There is interest on his part. He is coming off a 1 year, $5.5 million. He wants a long-term deal. We don't know what that number is going to be. However, we do have a sense of what Judd Moldover of Wasserman is expecting for Max Domi.
Okay.
Somewhere in the neighborhood. Remember, Max made what, three and a half this year?
70, 80, 90.
No. Here's what Pierre LeBrun says. I would imagine 5 or 6 years, which you can see,
What? He's a really good player. 70,
at
80.
$5 or $6 million a year.
So the whole
Now, he's
discourse-
already made $5.5 million a year
Whoa.
with the Habs. He had the Habs deal.
That's nuts. Sorry, and the whole discourse that I've been seeing is that that's too much.
You think that? I feel like that's significant, don't you?
It's a
For a guy that had I have been pounding the Max Domi drum since game one.
I want
right?
to know what percent of the NBA makes more than that.
Oh God, all of them.
Doesn't matter. Stick
Doesn't
to this
matter.
conversation.
It matters a bit.
Let's stick to this conversation though.
Arrest Gary Bettman.
Arrest Gary Bettman for sure.
Figure out a charge.
And I love this guy, and I
You're
love the
telling
way
me
he plays.
he's guilty of nothing? Knowing that fact,
let's not go
you're
with
telling
that.
me he's
Let's
guilty
talk
of
about
nothing?
Max
What
for a
about
second.
the Leafs signing Max Domi, Steve?
Yeah, you're right.
Now, Max did have a bit of a down start, but then they figured it out at the end of the year. He was great. And I love the passion, love the fire. $6 million seems rich to me. And people are like, but that's the going rate for a guy that's no, it's not.
I thought you wanted a long-term deal. I thought you were made to be a Leaf.
He is. He is, and he wants to be a Leaf.
Well, I thought, oh yeah? Oh, yeah? Prove it. No, it's over. It's over for this bullshit. You want to play here, act like it.
What's that? Take less?
Yeah.
Damn.
You want to play here, act like it.
I would not be upset.
loved that player. Loved him. We'll have to find someone else.
And you do have to realize that for the Leafs to even consider getting either of those deals done at term, Marner's got to go because they won't have the money and they have other things that they got to solve, right? It's not that they don't have the cap space. It's that they can't allocate that with 4 players making as much as they're making. So I'm looking at this and I wouldn't be terribly upset with $4.5 to $5 million 6 years. That doesn't bother me at all. But once we get into the 5.5, you're pushing it with me, but the cap's going up. Okay, fine. But I can't see $6 million. Six
is
seems
a lot.
And Zadorov
Six
is supposed to get a deal like that too. $5.5 to $6 million a year. 6 years. Maybe more.
So wait, so the Leafs, let's say they re-sign Max Domi. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they re-sign Tyler Bertuzzi. Mm-hmm. Okay. So a minimum of 4 guys from last year's team are going to make more, and they're going to get, what was that word? Better? Fuck off.
Well,
I'm so sick of it.
Those guys I don't think deserve your ire. I think you're misdirecting your ire. Those guys showed up. Domi and Bertuzzi showed up, man. They did.
They did.
They
did.
I think you're misdirecting this at years and years of inaction by the Toronto Maple Leafs front office and players that haven't got it done who make double what we're talking about. If you're gonna direct your ire, don't direct it at those two. I think those guys are.
Here's what my ire is.
They were great.
So the unfair part to Domi and Bertuzzi, Domi in particular, the unfair part is they shouldn't have to deal with my and a lot of the fan base's resentment towards players squeezing the Leafs for every dollar. That's not Max Domi's fault.
No.
It's not Domi's fault how the Nylander negotiation and the Matthews and the Marner and all that. That's not his fault.
Even the Kerfoot negotiation was low-key terrible.
Jesus Lord.
How did you do that?
Jesus Lord in heaven above. You know what is his fault and his camp's fault? This year-long propaganda campaign about, man, like I love it here and I want to be here forever. Don't you remember who my dad is? And here's a video of me on the ice. Go Leafs, go. Go Leafs, go. $6 million. $6 million in my palm long term.
Well, they got to start at a high number, and the Leafs got to start at a low number.
Yeah, but I tell you what, if it ends at that number, I'm not into it.
It's not going to end at that number.
Can I give you guys comparables?
Give it to me.
So these are contracts that are a cap hit between 5.5 and 6.5 million.
Okay.
And I'll do the most recent signing. So the signing date, we'll cut it off 2022. So the top 9 most recent contracts that were signed between 5.5 and 6.5 million. Gustav Forsling,
incredibly underrated defenseman.
5.75. Owen Tippett, 6.2.
Younger, better.
Trevor Zegras, 5.75.
Oof.
Hagel, 6.5. Tom
Younger,
Wilson, 6.5. Alex Killorn,
tougher.
6.25.
That's not a great deal.
Damon Severson, 6.25.
He plays for Columbus.
Vladislav Gavrikov.
Gavrikov.
Probably over.
Gavrikov,
Probably
5.875. Andrei Kuzmenko, 5.5. Those are the 9 most recent contracts signed between 5.5 and 6.5. Does Max Domi fit in that window?
I think...
Not really.
Oh, I think he's better than some of the players on that list.
Some of them, yeah.
But Brandon Hagel's obviously the steal. And the thing is that what the Leafs need to do with Max is the same thing that the Lightning did with Brandon Hagel. Now, he was an RFA, so it's different.
Yeah.
And Max is a UFA. Yeah. But you got to say, listen, Max, we gotta find a middle ground here. I think his camp would be open to that. I don't think it's a propaganda campaign. I think he actually legitimately has always wanted to be here and was told no multiple times. We know that by the Dubas administration. They said, we are not interested.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's not here anymore. I don't give a fuck about that guy.
Well, but what I'm saying is Domi this isn't propaganda. He legitimately wants to play here, and he plays like how I want Toronto Maple Leafs to play. Whether or not he's perfect.
Put the Leafs money where your mouth is.
Okay. But it's got to be him and everybody. That's got to be the team policy going forward. Don't put this on Max. Don't put it on Max. Don't put it on Tyler. Don't put it on Brad Treliving. Put it on Brendan Shanahan.
Yeah. No, like here's the difference between this and years past. Is in years past, I think the fan base was like, oh,
what if they leave?
Oh, what if they leave? I hope they stay. I don't think anyone gives a fuck if anyone leaves. You stink. You keep losing. Boo. Boo and fart. Hiss. Mm-hmm. Get out.
Yeah, because
Boo.
before we were like, there's so much potential here.
There's so much potential.
But we've seen the potential.
And now we're like, oh, actually, there's nothing. They're a bunch of fucking bottle merchants.
I
Boo.
think that you had a bad sleep last night,
I did.
and I think you're a little grouchy. Because I think you're wearing your grouchy pants right now.
And
that's fair, right? Like I'm not trying to, but listen.
I'm wearing my
let me tell you something.
grouchy shorts.
Let me tell you something. Who got you fired up more than Max Domi on the nights that he gets you fired up? There is Toronto Maple Leafs of the recent years have been accused of many things, but the thing that they need to be accused of more is having no emotion. I remember Game 3. Jesse and I are watching from the Scotiabank box because I'm a billionaire.
Yeah, that's not a lie.
And John Tavares gets punched in the face or something. And I look at Jesse and I go, it would be nice just once for John to react emotionally to anything.
And then all three of us were at a game against Vancouver on, I think, Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
Where someone, I think it was Ian Cole, hit Nick Robertson, and Max Domi grabbed him and pounded him.
Mm-hmm. The two guys,
pretty cool.
The two guys last season who showed the most emotion on this team were Max Domi and Ryan Reeves.
Yeah.
And if they wanted an emotional jolt, they got it out of those two guys, for sure, 100%.
Yeah. So
and
the
when,
Leafs,
when he did those things and was beloved, he made $3 million.
I agree.
You make double that, your
Steve,
perception changes.
You know that
you
a
make
negotiation.
double that, your perception changes.
You know that a negotiation. I agree with you, by the way. You're absolutely right. But you know a negotiation, because here's where. Do you think Pierre LeBrun got that information from the team? No. They got it from the agent. He quotes the agent. So
it's Judd.
100. Yeah,
not Darren Ferris anymore. Get wrecked.
Yeah, it's Judd. So Judd's saying we want 6. And the Leafs will be like, that's cool. We want 4. And it'll be somewhere in the middle of that.
Hopefully.
Right? That's what it'll be.
Hopefully.
By the way,
I have a hard time disagreeing with Steve being upset, because if anybody knows the team and the guys and the contract, it's probably Steve. And
maybe this time it'll work out.
But hold on a sec. The guy that signed those deals isn't here. You said you don't care. This is the new guy.
Yeah, same crest.
It's okay. Come on.
Sign for less, win some games.
Let's not do
Sign
that.
for less, win some games.
Just because
Boo.
Nothing you've said is you're going about it in the
popcorn.
You're going about it in the grumpiest way possible, but nothing you've said is entirely wrong. Like you can't. The team
Max
hasn't
is the
won.
wrong guy to be directing
The
your
team
ire
hasn't
at.
won.
I want to welcome Jesse to his first episode of the Steve Dangle Podcast. Because you sound both surprised that I'm grumpy and right. And I got to tell you why I'm consistently both.
All right.
Damn it.
Clearly,
Popcorn.
I should mention this. The Islanders and Blackhawks have made a trade. It is draft picks only.
Oh, wow.
They've swapped firsts, but the Isles get 2 seconds out of it. So,
in May?
In May. What are the Islanders cooking, I wonder? So Chicago will get the number 18 pick, and they will get their second round pick will be the number 50 pick from the Islanders. They have traded the number 50 or the number 20 pick because Chicago had a
okay.
And the Islanders will get number 20, number 54, number 61.
We got the visual. This will be
the Blackhawks will get number 18 and number 50.
So the Blackhawks,
they move up 2 spots in one and 4 in another.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh.
And
okay.
And none of the picks that the Blackhawks gave to the Islanders are Blackhawks picks. They're Tampa Bay, Kings, and Vancouver.
It cost Chicago a whole ass second round pick to move up 2 picks in the first round
and 4 in the second.
4 picks in the second round.
Yeah.
A second?
It feels like
Lou Lamoriello just came in there and took their lunch money.
Yeah, fleeced.
Oh my goodness!
What
an overpay!
What do you guys think is going on here?
Okay, this is the sort of deal that would happen on the draft floor and you don't even bat an eye. Like, this is the sort of deal that happens on draft day, and you bat an eye, you react to it
for 2 spots, Steve.
No.
Second?
Wait a sec.
Yeah.
This is the sort of deal that happens all the time on draft day, and we would be reacting to it on draft day.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting distracted by the exorbitant price Chicago paid, which is a lot. It's quite a bit. Well, it's the 61st pick. They paid the 61st pick to move up 2 spots in the first round and 4 spots in the second round.
We've been through that, yes.
I know. That's the price they paid. It feels rather significant that they did it on May 24th. Here, wait, I need to be on screen. I need to be on screen.
Okay, here we go.
Why is that? Chicago and New York made a trade that we always see at the draft a month before the draft.
You're not saying anything.
Why is that?
That's
No, I am.
That was my question.
You're repeating the trade.
Why is that?
I would assume because the Islanders are getting the extra pick, that they're the ones unloading a pick to someone for another deal.
What?
So the Islanders are
Why did they make this trade today? It does not make sense. This is what I'm saying, though. It doesn't make sense. This is a statement, Jesse, not a question.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense that this deal was made a month ahead of the draft.
This is Chewbacca.
Yeah, that does not make sense, which was a statement also. No, this is the sort of deal we would see at the draft and be like, oh, Chicago must really want someone
Yes.
who's available at 18, or they must really want someone who's available at 50 because they're still available. And we know this because we've seen the first 15, 16, 17 picks.
Exactly.
But it's May 24th, so why the hell did they make this trade? Something's up. I would assume the something's up is on the Islanders' end of it. This is a trade where 2 first-round picks changed hands.
Yes.
That never happens outside of the draft. Almost never. And it happened a month ahead of the draft. Why is that?
Is it Lou that's up to something, or is it JD that's up to something?
It has to be the Chicago side because they gave up the assets.
Right. Not
Kyle
JD.
Davidson.
KD.
Yeah. Well, he has a new nickname.
Yeah.
Kraft
'Cause
dinner.
Kyle Davidson has to be doing something here to want those 2 spots.
I love that people are making trades in the playoffs more now, by the way.
Can
Love
we
that.
look at the how many picks the Blackhawks have now and how many picks the Islanders have? Because I mean, a really silly explanation would just be, oh, the Blackhawks have too many damn picks, so you might as well move up.
But moving up 2 slots.
Yeah.
For a second? That doesn't
Or
make
6
sense.
total. That's weird.
You would never give up a second.
I know it's
Just all
61.
willy-nilly.
The
But,
only other thing I can think of, can you go back? Well, here, let's look at the Islanders first. So you're on the Blackhawks page.
You want the Islanders.
Let's go to the Islanders page. Like, are they low on draft picks or something?
No, they just gained 1.
So they were previously low on picks. Or no, they weren't.
No,
what the hell is going on?
They had 2 and they have a
Do you
third
think
now for moving down 2 spots.
Do you think that Lou wanted to have a full draft this year? And so he's like, I'm willing to move down a couple spots. Give me 2 seconds. It makes up for the fact that I don't have
Why would I say yes to that?
No, he doesn't have a first now because he just traded it.
I know, but he's got
No,
the
he
Tampa
does
first.
have. That was the first. No,
No, he had his own first, and he's replaced it with the Tampa.
I know that, but what he doesn't have is a third. And so I'm wondering if he wants to have 7
who
picks in the
cares?
draft.
Why would Kyle do that?
Why is that? I want to hear. So here,
Not helpful.
can you go back to what those picks are?
Not helpful at all, guys.
So the Blackhawks get 2 Islanders picks. I don't think anything of that. The Islanders get 3 picks belonging to 3 different teams. Like, are they flipping any of those? Does a team need a pick back in order to make the threat of an offer sheet? Remember the Leafs did that?
Yeah.
It was years and years ago, but it was for the Phil Kessel deal. They wanted to hold the threat of an offer sheet to Phil Kessel over the Bruins, but the problem was the Leafs did not have one of their own picks to meet the
Requirements.
offer sheet
Criteria.
for the deal. So they had to reacquire one of their picks. Are the Islanders going to give one of these picks back to the Lightning, the Kings, the Canucks?
Why wouldn't Kyle just do that then?
This might just be a regular ass pick for pick trade, but May 24th, no,
But-
doesn't pass the smell test.
Davidson decided I'm going to wildly overpay to move up 2 spots. I think that's the simplest
I
explanation
think
I got.
you're underestimating the cost of moving up.
2 slots?
Well, 6 total. Because he also moved up on the second round, too, from 54 to 50.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, Jesse.
It's a lot.
That's all I want you guys to get at is that he paid a lot of draft capital, meaning one whole last second round pick to move up 2 slots in the first round.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to make sense when you don't even know how the draft board has laid out yet.
Maybe Chicago's trying to move up. Like, again.
They're going to flip it again.
I mean, they have a month. They might as well. Like, this is where it's
they have a trade partner that's like, no, I don't want anything in the 20s. I want something in the teens.
I want an 18.
And then I will give you the next Bedard.
It's significant that this deal happened today.
It is.
Yeah.
It's significant.
No, for sure.
That this happened today. Something's going on. Something's fishy.
It's
All right.
ridiculous.
Well, listen, why don't we wrap the show there? Because it's been long. We've gone long. Why don't we wrap the show there?
Sure. One thing I got to clarify from last show. I said Mike Sullivan and John Cooper were up for the Four Nations face-off and the Team Canada head coaching job. Yeah, I meant Rod Brindamore and John Cooper.
I see.
That's so my
There you
bad.
go.
Because Mike Sullivan is the Team USA head coach for the Olympics and the Four Nations face-off, and I got all my international head coaches confused. So there you go. Thank you for letting me clarify that.
Yes. Before we go, 11 players have played for the Leafs, Rangers, and Panthers in their career. Who are they?
Remember, send your distracting super chats to Steve tonight.
One of them's Greg McKegg.
Oh.
Another's Dryden Hunt.
Brian Leach?
No.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.